as you may well know by now, every now and then we get to speak to really cool people who do really cool things. And today is someone that I really am excited to speak to, Brendon Peel. Welcome to my house.
Hello, Danny. How's it going? And hello to all the listeners and viewers. Thank you very much for having me here today.
No, we are excited to have you. Right, so first things first, you are an illusionist and a magician. What is the
Yes,
difference
that is correct.
what is in okay, so I recently in order to research this, I watched The Illusionists. I've been watching a lot of David Blaine. I've been watching a lot of that other dude from London.
Yeah, there's a few, but maybe
Okay.
Animo is probably what you're referring to.
What is the difference between an illusionist and a magician?
It's always quite difficult to. Different magicians would also tell you different things, but ultimately, all of it is kind of a category of magic. So, if you imagine the art of magic as like almost music in a way, there's different genres within kind of the overarching kind of art of magic. Much like there's genres in music, you get hip hop, opera, pop, whatever else, country music, and all the rest of that. There's not as many different genres in kind of magic, but there are different ones. Like illusions are more grander, bigger. If you think about like maybe people jumping out of boxes magically that were empty previously, that's more of an illusion as such. That's what an illusionist kind of does. A magician is kind of a more general term for someone who maybe does walk around magic. The actual type of magic I mainly do, and thanks for asking this because sometimes you can get quite technical, as you can tell. I'm actually a mentalist, which is essentially magic of the mind. But I do try and dabble in all the different types of magic as well. But yeah, so there's all those different types of magic, and they all fun to watch and to perform as well.
Okay, but magic isn't really magic because then what you're telling me is an illusionist like David Blaine who walks across the Thames is not actually he's walking across the Thames, but not really. And a mentalist is kind of setting the trick up from as you walk in the door, right? You've studied NLP, you know how to manipulate me. So magic isn't really magic, right?
Well, it's kind of hard to just say like magic isn't really magic because I would like to say that magic is in the eye of the beholder. For I don't mean to be too cliche here or anything, but basically magic is however the person who's experiencing like this piece of magic, it's however they perceive it and want to comprehend it. That is actually the real magic. Now, can people genuinely, walk on water or levitate or genuinely make like a person materialize out of nowhere? I like to think a lot.
Don't say no. Don't say no.
I like to think a lot of the audience kind of knows that there's something to it. I'm not going to divulge exactly how to do it. But obviously, the magicians and illusionists and mentalists that do these things do it quite well, or at least, the ones that you mentioned now. Like David Blaine, for example, actually was one of my kind of heroes growing up. So yeah, I look up to him quite a lot as a performer. And for me, and especially with the mentalism side, there is a lot of like realism within that. So, for example, memorization techniques. You mentioned NLP and general psychology, like kind of psychological pieces of information that you can find out about someone, like cold reading and stuff like that. There's a lot in the kind of branch of mentalism that is actually quite real, believe it or not. But also, I always like to leave it up to the viewer or the listener or the person who's kind of enjoying my craft. I leave it up to them if they wish to believe it as real. I kind of say, like, obviously there are some parts that are straight up trickery, but also there are some parts of that are real. I like to blur the line between reality and fiction.
Okay. Okay, so you were talking about like having all of this power, right? And being able to influence people and trick people and have them believe you. Have you ever used your power for darkness? Even just a little bit.
No. I like people have kind of asked me similar things before. Like, oh, can you just hypnotize? I don't know, someone at the bank to just give you like R1 million, or something, like give you money or whatever the case is. The bottom line is a lot of not only what I do, but what other international mentalists as well do is uh, the way we kind of go about it. It's structured in a way that it's all for entertainment purposes. It is quite difficult. It's not impossible, but it's a lot more difficult to take these kind of skills out into the real world. And for example, like I just said, like hypnotize someone to just give you kind of money. It is plausible to do so. It's just very difficult. And I personally, I do have quite a decent moral compass. So I would never kind of do that ever, right?
I was just going to say it's definitely possible. Didn't Simon Leviev or whatever his name is, he did it. He manipulated people into giving him lots of money. So did Anna Sorkin.
Yes. Yeah. So they're actually using mentalism techniques. They're using a lot of suggestion and a lot of psychology involved. And that goes with scam artists in general. They do use a lot of techniques that I use for entertainment purposes. So yes, to answer your question like that, if I wanted to be a scam artist, for sure I could be a very decent scam artist, yeah. But I'm not, all right?
No, I know you're not, but listen, I am now intrigued and I am going to go and find out where I can learn these things because I am in. I'm in, dude. Okay, so that's my next question. How does one find themselves in this world? Like, I know like when I was younger, there were books about like magic schools and you had to like join a cult or whatever. How do you become a magician?
It's actually the difficult part of becoming a magician is actually practicing. Basically, that's the main kind of issue. There is actually a school of magic in Cape Town, and it's still operational. Wow. There's actually some very talented young performers from there that come out of that College of Magic. That's the only kind of structured place in South Africa that I know of, structured like magic school. But other than that, most magicians, including myself, I'm self-taught. I picked up a couple books from the library. There are books. I don't know if libraries still even people can still go to libraries, to be honest. These days you can go onto YouTube, you can go onto just Google in general, and you can find kind of writings and readings on the classics of magic, the techniques of magic tricks and stuff like that. And, it's nothing really there's a lot of different techniques. There's a lot of nuances. I'm not going to go all the way deep into it now because that's a 2-hour conversation right there for real. But there is a lot you can learn kind of from a principle perspective. There's a lot you can learn from quite fairly quickly. The difficult part and the part that takes the longest time is actually to kind of perfect that craft, right? And, get your hand skills if you're doing stuff with cards. Equally with mentalism, it's working a lot with other people. So you have to go out there and just do it with other people. And it is just more of you learn with experience, if that makes sense. So that is the tricky part. A lot of people just want to know, okay, how is that trick done? Yeah. But then they never have any kind of impetus or need or want to ever actually perform that trick or learn how to do it properly. So I'm not going to teach tricks to people who just want to know how it's done. But if someone genuinely wants to learn and then go out and perform, I personally am happy to teach people. I have taught quite a few different people how to do some magic tricks and illusions and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so Brendon, we've been talking about magic tricks. Can we see one?
You know what? Actually, I can show you a couple different things because we were just talking a little bit about the whole kind of psychology part of magic, and that is what interests me one of the most. So I actually have over here. I'll get to this in a second, all right? But I have some things here that I want to show you. Now, there are some people out there, and also, actually, I want to show you this because we were also speaking about people taking these kind of magic tricks and stuff like that and applying it to the real world, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are plenty of people that do that. They take these magic techniques and tricks and do take them out and apply them to kind of fool people into believing what they're doing is real. Now, back in the day, in the 70s, 80s, and sometimes even 90s and beyond, even today, they used to use these symbols. if someone said they were genuinely psychic.
ESP cards, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're called ESP cards, yes.
Yeah.
And as you can see, and for the listeners at home, I'll just explain. I have 5 ESP cards for you here. We have a star, that's a cross or plus sign. The classic wavy lines, that's quite a traditional one. A square and a circle. Now these are all just
basically PlayStation, Xbox signs.
Basically, yeah, that's actually true. But these are also just simple shapes, and the whole idea is to test someone else's psychological ability using these ESP symbols, which I'm glad you actually know what they're called. I have these 5 over here. These are printed in black print, right? Just for the listeners as well, they can't see. And I also have
green.
The exact same 5 symbols printed in green print, right? Hopefully you can see that comfortably. Now I'm going to mix around these green ones because I don't want you to see which ones I'm putting where. I also do have a board, all right? There's a board over here numbered from 1 to 5 on one side, and the other side is all blank, all right? Now I'm going to place these green symbols onto this side over here. And Danny, what we're going to do today is we're going to test your psychic ability. So in all honesty, do you believe in psychic ability at all?
I mean, I do. I wish I had it, but I definitely don't. And I think we're going to see that we don't.
Well, I actually don't know right now. This is a bit of an experiment. So we'll have to see, right? I don't know which ones here are where. Okay, just so you totally, I'm just mixing up the black printed cards over here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go one by one through these cards, and you are going to go through and tell me. So when I hold up this first one over here, you're going to give me a number. As you can see those numbers clearly: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to give me whichever number you're going to give me. I'm going to put it into basically, or 5. Slide it in.
5.
You know what's interesting? 5. You know what's interesting, Danny? Is most people tend to go for odd numbers over even numbers initially, all right? When you ask someone to think of a 1-digit number, most people tend to go for odd numbers, right? Go ahead. Now we obviously have eliminated, well, 5 is now filled up. We have 1 to 4. Which one would you like?
Well, I really wanted 3, but now you've thrown me, so let's go 2.
2, all right. So in this example, we have like a plus sign going into 2. Now, did I kind of say the odd number? Everyone picks odd numbers to try and throw you off to go.
Yeah.
Was I bluffing? Was I double bluffing?
Yeah, you see,
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, you're mentalistic me.
Yeah, I'm trying to play these mind games as we go.
I think trying to help me be psychic. Okay.
No, I'm also trying to help. But yes, now we have 1, 3, and 4. Which one do you think this one is?
4.
4. All right. So this is our square.
Oh, you see, your face looked disappointed. Now I'm like reading you as well.
Yes. No. I don't want you to think too much about it. We only have 2 left, which means we only have 1 kind of more option to go. Which one would you like?
So we have 1 and 3 left, right? 1.
1. Do you also notice?
A lot, so I was like, that's got to be 1.
I actually said that. Yes, in fact, if you do actually replay that, you can actually notice that I did say, which one do you want? Obviously, leaving finally number 3, which is one you were actually going to go for in the beginning, all right?
Yeah.
So I've kind of shown you most of them as well as we were going along. You did great. And what's interesting, actually, Danny, is today what happened is you actually matched me perfectly. As you can see, you've matched the circle with the circle, the cross with the cross, the wavy lines with the wavy lines, and the square with the square, and finally the star with the star.
Okay, but this is concerning now, Brendon, because this tells me that I'm easily led.
No, you know what's interesting is that most of this type of stuff mainly works with people that actually have a good creativity and good imagination. And I think that actually worked so well. And that was a little bit of a warm-up. I would like to try one other thing with you, if that's cool. If you want to see something else.
Yeah, I'm in.
Because as well, we tend to often play around with cards, as I'm sure most of you who think of a magician would often think of, magician with cards of some kind, right? So I do have a unique pack of cards over here that I will show you in a second, all right? I also have a piece of paper. Now, on this piece of paper, and you can verify, you can see this right in front of you here, Danny. I'm not going to show you what I wrote down on the other side, but I wrote down one thing on the other side, right? I'm going to leave This piece of paper over here on the table, you can see it there the whole time, right?
Yes.
I don't want you to think I'm popping it out or anything like that,
Gone.
okay? And you can watch for the listeners at home that is indeed what's happening.
Yes.
Now,
Confirmed.
of course, being here, performing virtually and things like that, I've had to change up the game a little bit on how people select cards, right? Obviously, you can't actually reach through the screen and select a card at random, all right? But I do want to show you that these cards are all, of course, different, and you can just verify for the kind of
they look like
over
normal
there.
playing cards, like a deck of cards.
They are normal, completely normal on the front, especially. They are all completely different. You can trust me, I'm a magician, all right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding around. But on the back, it's quite unique because on the back, I've actually numbered these cards from 1 all the way to 52. Can you see that comfortably? Yeah,
yes,
you can see like 11,
yes,
19. So like 20 is 6 of clubs, for example. You know, and so each card has its own number on the back, all right? So how you are going to freely select a card for us here today is you are basically just going to give us a number. Now, there is 52 cards in here. Go ahead, give us a number from 1 to 52.
15. 15.
15. 1 5. Take a look. I'm going to go 1 5, right? And take a look. Is that a lucky number by any chance or just complete random?
I was trying to be as random as I could.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Random is good. Take a look. That is number 15, right?
Yes.
I'm going to place number 15 in our little Rubik's Cube card holder, all right? Number 15. You verify that is indeed number 15.
Number 15.
Yes. It's fantastic. Now, if you chose number 16 over here, you could have said 16. You would have got 7 of clubs. In fact, if you chose number 14, you'd have the 8 of hearts over there. Yes. In fact, if you went all the way to the bottom, 48 is the king of clubs. 49 is 4 of hearts. You could have literally landed on any card, right? You freely thought of and then proceeded to say 15.
I think I did. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a free choice. It was a completely free choice. Take a look. I'll show you. For number 15 is actually the 5 of spades, right? Now, that is, you can verify that is the 5 of spades. I can tell you now that a very random card, right? That is very random. Most people don't randomly say or think of the 5 of spades. Also, not many people, I think, would go for number 15. 15, 5 of spades, just like that. Now, on this piece of paper that's been here the entire time, I did write down something earlier, right? And I want to show you right now what I wrote down here. In fact, Danny, I'd like you to read out exactly what it says on this piece of paper. 5
of spades. He's been playing me this whole time. From when we said hello, he's been setting this up, this mentalist.
Yes, fantastic. But thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that and saw something unique and different that you didn't.
No, I definitely did. You know what? I've seen this in real life, obviously, and I've been exposed to this throughout my career. I don't understand it fully, but I do understand a little bit of it, which is why I picked up on the 11111 thing. But I just, you know what I love about mentalists and magicians just in general, the discipline that you have and the amount of practice that you must do in order to make this so fluid and so natural that we don't know. We don't know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. We have no idea. We're like,
to be honest, half the time I don't know what I'm doing either. So no, but it is a lot of work to put in, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But that work has taken you to some really cool places because you have done the Got Talents. You've done more than one. Where were you on a Got Talent?
So recently we just aired now on Romania's Got Talent, which is, I know it's random, but it's quite trending right now because a lot of people are actually moving from Ukraine into Romania.
Yeah.
It was actually, we aired the weekend that the whole kind of conflict started. But yeah, so shout out to the Ukrainians out there and whatnot, fighting for their lives. But yeah, we've also been on Britain's Got Talent, which was also obviously a game changer for kind of my career. Being on Britain's Got Talent, being in front of Simon Cowell, I think not many South African performers have ever, for a fact, no South African mentalist has ever been in front of Simon Cowell. But not many South African performers have had that opportunity, even out of the magic discipline. So that was quite just an epic kind of experience. Even, being on Romania's Got Talent, there's potential for other kind of Got Talents in the future. We did really well in Romania as well, standing ovation and 4 yeses and all that stuff. So you'll stay tuned, to round 2 and hopefully beyond. Yeah.
No, we're here for it. Okay. But also, you are currently doing some shows in South Africa, right?
Yes, there's quite a few things lined up. I have a show called Impossible with an exclamation point at the end of it, because why not? Just for drama. And that show's going around. So currently, I've actually just performed it in Pretoria and a few other places, even the Vaal, for anything. But now the next kind of slot there that I will be doing, the next big show, will be actually at Hilton College on the 24th of March. So that show is open to the public. It's also part of the Hilton Pop-Up Festival, because they haven't been able to do a festival for a while. So I'll be performing there. That's going to be quite a big show. And then I'll be in PE on the 8th and 9th of April, doing the Athenaeum in Gqeberha, or Port Elizabeth as it was previously known. Yeah. Where I'm actually originally from as well, from PE. Yeah.
From PE, Gqeberha, to Romania, to Britain's Got Talent, to the Vaal Triangle. I mean,
No, I know it is an interesting blend, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Dude, where can we follow you, and where can we get in touch if someone is interested in maybe pursuing this? I mean, there are kids watching that want to do this.
So if anyone ever wants to watch any of my shows, or if anyone's ever interested in kind of picking up a little bit of the art of magic, or even mentalism, or even just kind of opening your mind to these psychological principles that we were kind of talking about earlier, you can follow me on kind of all social media platforms. It's at Brendon Peel Magic. That's BRENDON PEELMAGIC, which is Magic, Brendon Peel Magic. That's my same handle on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. I'm on all of the platforms. So feel free to reach out if you are genuinely interested in learning magic, if you're genuinely interested in coming and checking out the shows. Also on all my platforms, I'm often posting videos, upcoming content, and stuff like that. So it's a whole bunch of fun and magic on all these platforms. Yeah.
Brendon, last question. Have you ever, because I mean, you've traveled the world, you work in these circles, perhaps you're privy to something that us normal muggle people are not. Have you ever seen or experienced real magic?
So the thing is, I have been doing magic for quite some time, to be honest, almost 17 years now, since I've done my first magic trick, because I was 12 at the time when I learned it. I'm 29 now, almost getting old, but anyway, what can you do? But
thanks, Brendon, thanks. It's the nicest thing you said.
I'm kidding around. But no, I have been doing it a while. And there are sometimes some magic effects and tricks that I have seen other magicians perform that I am like mind blown about. And I really am like, I have absolutely no idea how this person did this. And that to me, like I said initially, is kind of like the real magic, because it's in the eye of the beholder. It's me going, wow, that's like blew my mind. Yeah. To be honest, the more magic you learn, the more you go down a journey of learning magic, the less wow. It's more difficult to be wowed, if that makes sense, because you kind of know. But I still, whenever I watch magic, I just appreciate the art of it and the techniques, Even if you know how a painter, you know how Da Vinci used his hand painting the artwork, you can still enjoy the artwork at the end of the day. And I kind of see magic as kind of the same. Just because you know the techniques behind it doesn't ruin the entire kind of end piece of art. Yeah.
Yeah. Brendon, thank you for your time. This has been really, really great. I'm following you everywhere. And as soon as you have a show somewhere near me, I'm in. Oh, and one request. If you do go back to Romania, I've spent a very large part of my life trying to find a vampire. So please do me a favor. Like if that kind of magic is real, DM me immediately.
Okay, I'll definitely have to go to Transylvania and have a look there. Yeah. I'll let you know.
That is a deal. Hey, you said that on camera.
I did. I'll have to go look for it.
Brendon, thank you so much for your time, dude.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thanks to all the listeners for tuning in and all the viewers. And yeah, stick on Jacaranda FM. Thanks for having me so much.
Jacaranda FM.